Hello and welcome. I'm the Theory Detective. In these lessons, we'll uncover the mystery of music theory. Now, in the last lesson, we talked about the minor scale and the minor chord. So let's continue on from A minor and go to our first sharp minor. Now, remember in the key of G major, or the scale of G major, I'll put that over here, G major, we have F sharp. So this is our first sharp. So dealing with our first sharp minor, we actually have to use the F sharp as well. So right here, I'm gonna put it down here. So this is D, and I'm putting it in lowercase. D minor, again in lowercase, also has F sharp. So major, uppercase, minor, lowercase. Okay? So let's take a look at it over here. Now remember, we have to have the same pattern as we had with A minor, with the whole steps and half steps. In minor, the pattern is whole step, half step, whole step, half step, whole step. So that change, whole step, half step from whole step from major, is what we need to think about here. E to F is a half step because there's no note in between. So we have to raise F. I'm going to cross this out and become F sharp. So there's our F sharp. So from E to F, that would be a whole step. From F sharp to G, that would be a half step. G to A, whole step. A to B, whole step. B to C, there's our half step. C to D, whole step. D to E, whole step. Again, oh, this one's a little further. Sorry, let me fix that. Whole step, there we are. So again, whole step, half step, whole step, half step, whole step, whole step. So whole step, half step, whole step, half step, whole step, whole step. So that's different from major, which was, and I'm going to put it in blue here, whole step, half step. So there's two whole steps first. Whole step, half step. So this is a very different pattern. Those changes, let me do that again. Changes here, here, and here. No. Here. There we are. So there's 4 changes, and those make it sound dark, mysterious, scary, or sad. Dark, sad, mysterious, scary. There we are. So we're going to listen to our major. Listen to E major. And this is our E minor. Listen to the first 3 notes of our major and our first 3 notes of the minor. Major, minor. The middle note, or the 3rd note, is a little bit lower. Major, minor. There we are. So whole step, whole step, half step, whole step, half step, whole step. That will give us the minor pattern as opposed to the major pattern here, as in G major. So we have D minor. Excuse me. E minor. We're starting with E. We have E minor, and we need 1 sharp, so 1 accidental. Our first sharp is our F sharp. So we're going to find that here. E to F sharp, whole step. F sharp to G, that's our half step now because the F has been raised, so it's right up against the G. So we're going to put that big H. G to A, whole step. A to B, whole step. B to C, that's our half step. No note in between, so there's our half step. C to D, whole step, and D to E, whole step. So that's our minor pattern. Try to memorize that just like we memorized the major pattern. Practice those two, major separately and then minor separately, so you get them both, because they are very different and they have different sounds associated with them. The major, bright and happy, and the minor, dark and mysterious. Major, minor. So memorize the pattern, the whole step, half step pattern. And also in minor, we might add in a sharp for the 7th note. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And of course that's 1 again. So this one might be raised, and I'll put that in parentheses. It might be raised, especially if you're dealing with chords. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. But for now, we're dealing with the natural minor. Natural. You don't have to memorize that now, but just be aware that they do have names. Natural just means that, you know, it's the basic form, the original form, and then the other ones alter it in some way. Let's deal with the chord. Here's our E major chord. I'll give you each note. All together, or blocked, broken, and there's our middle note. Now here's our minor. Here's our middle note. Major, minor, major, minor. So there's a very little difference right here. There's a lowered middle note. So this is the minor third. So we skip up from E, and then we skip up from E to G, and from G to B, and that gives us our chord. So this is our E minor chord. I'm going to go ahead and put a big I for 1. I'll give, oh, excuse me. I'm going to put a little I because it's minor. So let me change that. Put a little tiny I because it's major. And then here I'm going to put a capital I. So we have the 1 chord, or the tonic chord in minor, and we have the tonic chord in major. So this is E minor and this is E major. So E minor, lowercase, E major, uppercase, minor, and then this over here, major, and there's our uppercase. Okay, go ahead and take out some flashcards. Write on one E minor scale to contrast with the major scale that we learned. So there's our minor scale. And then on the back side, go ahead and write it out. E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, and you can put E again if you want. Make sure that the E is lowercase and that the M for minor is lowercase as well. That will help you remember how we use it as shorthand. Lowercase M for minor, uppercase M for major. So those are contrasted. And then the E minor chord, same thing, lowercase e and lowercase m. You can make the C for chord lowercase if you want, but usually we just leave it uppercase. Either one, doesn't really matter. And then E, G, B for the chord, the actual spelling of the chord. And that's how we contrast the major versus the minor. And sometimes we will use the sharp, the raised 7th, but for now we're going to deal with the natural minor scale, so the basic scale. And we really won't have to deal with it raised until we're dealing with more chords later on. Okay, go ahead and practice them as much as you can. Especially try to memorize the whole step, half step pattern for minor. Major is whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. Minor is whole step, half step, whole step, half step, whole step, whole step. So they're very different. Try to memorize both of those so that you can pick up visually. If you have a hard time picking up visually, go ahead and play it. When you play it out on your instrument, then you can hear the difference between the major and the minor as well. But it's always best to be able to do them both by listening and also visually. So try to memorize that pattern, and that will help you as well. And as always, have a great day.